Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good in our community. And we love talking about the YMCA of Memphis in the Mid-South. We're joined by their Senior Vice President of Operations, our good friend, Justin Inskeep. How are you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great, feeling blessed. And as we were saying before, just thanks for the opportunity to be back talking about the Y. And been talking about the Y for about 20 years now. So when you say there's about 16 minutes worth, it makes me nervous a little bit, but no, all is good. Y is doing good. And, we're just trying to hire good people and invite new people back into our YMCAs, along with an abundance of other things that I'm sure we'll get into in the next 15 minutes now.
Absolutely. So let's start out because hopefully everyone knows YMCA, knows the why, but give us a little bit of perspective when you talk about the number of centers here in the Mid-South, the ties nationally. Give us some overview, some basic context for YMCA.
Sure. Yeah. So the YMCA here in Memphis and Mid-South, we've been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners for over 160 years now. We have 10 centers, full service YMCAs, anywhere from Oxford to downtown to up to Millington and even out to Trenton, Tennessee. So serving a wide range of patrons. And we also have, some early learning centers. So we're making sure that that we're caring for the kids that, 6 weeks to 5 years. Of course, we have our before and after school, programs, Jeremy, which we've talked a lot about, serving, over 200 sites now in Schilling or in Shelby County schools, DeSoto County, up in Millington, Collierville. So we're really in the childcare space, obviously the membership space that is, kind of our lifeblood. So, we're doing good, still really encouraging people to come into our Ys, and we're still actually, in the meal service program. So nutrition services is ripping and running. I think last time we talked, the Y had served probably, I think maybe over 1 million meals last time we talked. And then now we're over 3.5 million, actually, coming from the YMCA's corporate office and sending those out into the community. So Y is doing good. Plan on being here for another 160 years, Lord willing.
Absolutely. Let's take those in threads because you threw out a lot of different programs and things that you do and the impact. Let's take them in pieces because I do want to elaborate, especially, with the early start to the year and kind of jumping in. Yeah. Memberships being a priority. Let's do some nice plugs. So talk about the fitness side, because when you talk about the wellness centers, you have amazing fitness that goes into that and programs. So talk about the fitness center.
Yeah, so we know that, clean facilities, good customer service, all those things are vitally important. Once you get past, the front desk and all that, then comes our group exercise, some of our health and wellness activities, childcare centers. So what we found, Jeremy, which you probably already know, is we're most successful when we connect people to groups. So what our goal is obviously to market and bring as many folks in January as possible with our membership promotion, which is a 20% off your monthly membership dues, plus you waive the join fee. And then one new thing we're doing this year is we're doing something called a perks pass. So if you come and join between now and January 31st at any one of our YMCAs, then you get, as I mentioned, 20% off the monthly dues plus waive the join fee. But then we also give you like $1,000 in credit, if you will, that you can use on programs such as swim lessons, personal training, CrossFit, Power 40, all those different things too. So group exercise is a really big area of our focus, as it always has been, Jeremy. But as I mentioned just a minute ago, if we're successful at connecting people to groups, and we find that people stay longer and then they become lifelong YMCA members because they find a connection along with the health and wellness piece. So we're really focusing a lot on our group exercise classes, the quality of their group exercise classes, the timing, making sure that our in-branch free child watch is collaborating with our group exercise schedule and all that. So parents can drop their kids off, go take a class. So we're really focused on kind of elevating our group exercise and our group related classes here in January throughout 2022.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, perfect timing right now with the special offers. And all throughout the year, you have a lot going on, including the summer. And when you talk about right now and all the way through as the weather gets warmer, pool, swimming, activities in the pool. So talk about the pool, the swim safety. You do a lot around that.
Sure. Yeah. No, thanks for that question. And a lot of folks don't know that the second leading cause of death amongst kids 12 and younger is actually accidental drowning. So the YMCA wants to continue to be in the forefront of that, be leaders in that, and experts, if you will. So of course we're charged to do as many swim lessons as we can, youth and adult, at all of our centers. And then Lord willing, we'll be having a bunch of swim lessons starting in September at the Cato Johnson and Georgette YMCA in Whitehaven, which we're really excited to be in construction with that too. So whether it's summer camp, swim lessons, mentoring programs, ways to engage our youth and keep them safe and excited about the Y and health and wellness, that's kind of what we're striving to do. But the swim lesson piece is something that, of course, every year we're trying to teach more kids, and we're finding that there's a lot of adults that quite frankly don't know how to swim either. And what that presents is sometimes a family tree of individuals that just don't know how to swim. So kind of the old school way is, hey, if you have a pool, they'll come to us. Well, that's true, but we're also trying to put efforts in place and create partnerships, Jeremy, that others can help us recruit kids and adults that need to learn how to swim, because we want the Y to be the choice for that. So.
Nice. I love it. You mentioned the Georgette and Cato Johnson Y. And so elaborate on that, including, the timing of that in terms of opening.
Yeah, it's exciting, and I won't get into, kind of supply chain and challenges with all that, but we are moving forward and continuing, construction out there in Whitehaven. Our goal is, if we can get a roof here, which we think it's floating around in an ocean somewhere. But as soon as we get a roof here, then we'll be able to, kind of move the ball forward at a quicker pace. But our goal is to have a grand opening in late August, early September of 2022. So right now it's making sure that we recruit and hire the best, director that we can to move that work forward, as well as develop a strong relationship with the community of Whitehaven. So we're hoping grand opening September of 2022. Beautiful facility, and of course we'll invite you and all of our friends out for that grand opening. But September 2022 is kind of our target, and we're preparing to open, in September. So all the things that come along with that are currently happening and being activated right now. So
absolutely, you are busy indeed. You also mentioned at the onset feeding programs, nutrition, working with youth, students. So go ahead and dive into that world, because that's a lot.
Yeah, so we know that 1 in 5 kids in the Memphis and Mid-South area, Jeremy, they just don't know where their next meal is coming from. And we could talk about data and statistics all day long about what happens when kids aren't fed appropriately. So, we have our at our corporate office, where is at Goodlet Farms Parkway. The far east side of our center is a warehouse with our nutrition program. So meals are being prepped, packaged, and then put into trucks and then sent out to the community to our before and after school sites. So Monday through Friday, the Y is providing meals for kids in our before and after school programs. Saturday, we're at locations around the Mid-South from 9 to noon, offering meals to kids in need. So all you have to do on Saturday is go to either Schilling Farms, the Millington Y, or the Newber Y between 9 and noon, and we provide the weekend of meals, so bags of meals for the kids for the weekend, because we know that a lot of kids just get fed Monday through Friday at school, and then when Saturday and Sunday comes, our kids aren't being nourished. So really focused on moving forward with our nutrition program, and like I said before, we've been able to award over 3.5 million meals, which is mind blowing. And then our goal is to move this work south too a little bit, and really start working with some friends in our DeSoto County area to really start making a huge impact with the food distribution down south of state line. So whether it's food distribution, or we're working with the Shelby County schools for a mentoring program too. We know how important not only food is, but the people alongside, the adults alongside of these kids, and how they're being mentored, because we know a lot of kids go home to no food. but then also to know nobody who has sometimes there's no parental, established at the house, at that time. So we just try to fill the gaps. Jeremy, as you know, we've talked. Our goal is obviously to drive membership, do all the blocking and tackling that the Y does to be able to operate. But how can we make an impact, fill the gap, and just really move the work forward in Memphis and the Mid-South? And we're always trying to find ways to do that, whether it's through our Y on the Fly program, which is a mobile kind of food distribution reading program, or if it's just us out in the community kind of doing our thing with the food and mentoring. So we know that the youth is our future. So we're trying to find more ways to do that.
Carry it forward on the YMCA, the Y on the Fly, because you mentioned a couple of times with the swimming and obviously too reaching out, but I think it is pretty neat to see that, as you mentioned, there's one aspect of people coming to you in the centers, but there's a whole nother aspect of you going to them. And so I think that's what, when you talk about is innovative with Y and the Y on the Fly, I think that's an innovative program that launched a few years ago and has been wildly successful. So talk about Y on the Fly.
Yeah, no, thanks. So Jeremy, you're right. A couple of years ago, we launched Y on the Fly, and we call it the Y without walls. It's kind of what we call it here in the office. And, we have 4 vehicles that are outfitted with the Y on the Fly wrap, and have coolers, we have mobile libraries. And then also we teach land, water safety too. So what we do is we dispatch these Y on the Fly vehicles out to specific areas in community that need some support, or whether it's community centers or whether it's events. Is we just, drive the vehicle out. We have YMCA folks that are kind of cranking, music and providing meals to kids. And then also each kid gets a chance to kind of go through a mobile library and take a couple free books, because we know literacy is an ongoing challenge for educators in our community. And then along with that, we offer land water safety. So we know that a lot of kids don't know how to swim. And then if a kid is in need, a lot of times these kids just jump in and not know how to swim. So we try to teach some good tactics on how to be safe. First and foremost, we want them to learn how to swim. But if they don't, if one of these kids or an adult witnesses somebody in distress, what do you do opposed to just jumping after them? Then we have 2 people we have to try to save. So, and the Y on the Fly has been an incredible marketing opportunity for us, just to be out in the community, serving meals, and just it's awarded us the opportunity just to have conversations with people in our community, which that's one of my favorite parts about Y on the Fly is, yeah, it's great to provide the meals and all those things, but when you can just kind of have a basic, genuine conversation with somebody you've never met before, that is out in the community, like the things I've learned about the community, the things that I've heard and been able to kind of take back and say, did we know this was a challenge, has been fantastic. So the Y on the Fly is so much more than just, Meals on Wheels and books on wheels. It's actually given us a chance to stay more connected and have conversations with our community that we probably wouldn't have without it.
Well, obviously there's a lot going on in your world. There's a lot of good that you all are doing. How can we help? I mean, you've kind of mentioned a couple of things, is memberships, taking advantage of promotions, tying in and spreading the word, but how can we help?
Yeah, no, I think you're doing it. Just this is a prime example right here, Jeremy, of how you continue to help. Is just give us the platform, give myself and other, Y leaders and volunteers an opportunity to kind of, speak into what we're doing, and then you can help us highlight it. And I think that's the main thing that y'all could do for us, is just take the information and disseminate it as much as you can, because we do know that people still don't know what we do, and we continue to I wouldn't say fight that battle, but understand that not everybody knows about the Y, and a lot of people just think we're a good gym and swim, but the mentoring, the feeding piece, all the things that we do, the before and after, the early learning centers, people just don't know. So any way that you can get the word out and let people know, and your colleagues, share the information with your colleagues, because we talked off the air, and we are doing a lot, but there's a couple other projects that we're thinking through that could actually be some game changers for some communities. So any way that you can get the Y word out there and advocate for our work, that's a huge service to us, Jeremy.
Absolutely. And financial contributions are always accepted and appreciated, right?
They are, and of course, that's funny you mentioned that because we're going through an annual support campaign actually right now, Jeremy. And this is one thing that I tell all my, my new, directors, and they're always like, well, what do you want me to say when I'm out speaking to people? And I said, the one thing that people have to know is we don't turn anybody away due to financial inabilities. That is the one burning thing that I still don't think people quite understand, Jeremy. That if you want to be involved in the Y, whether it's a program or a service, and times are tough and you need some support. That's why we fundraise all year long, specifically now. So what I like to say is we can continue to give hand ups to people. I always say we don't give handouts, right? Not a good business practice, but we give a ton of hand ups. And if you're compelled to, help us out giving hand ups to whether it's a kid that needs swim lessons or whether it's a family that needs a Y in their lives through membership and they just can't afford it, then we'd like to be introduced to those folks so we can impact them through the annual support campaign, which is an annual fundraiser, if you will. So what you said is absolutely right. We're very gracious and accepting of any donation, but we're also looking for people's time and talent as well. The treasures are fantastic and the financial commitment, but we're looking for volunteers that want to be committed to this work. And I promise we won't, we will make sure that your volunteer experience is plentiful. We just need that opportunity. So we would love people's times, talents, and treasures.
Yeah. We'll wrap up with contact information. Where do we go to learn more? Website, social media, where do we go?
Yeah, no, thank you. So we have a fantastic call center. So 901-766-7677 will get you to one of our best, customer service specialists that can answer all your questions. And then, of course, the website, YMCAmemphis.org. If you're interested in job opportunities or the annual support campaign or just learning a little bit more about the meal program or the membership promotion or locations, visit our website and or just call. Again, it's 901-766-7677 or YMCAmemphis.org.
Well, Justin, greatly appreciate all you and your amazing team are doing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all. And hopefully we see you again soon. Okay.